was a full-time influencer, I would have quit a long time ago, okay? There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of creating content, a lot that goes on behind the scenes of being an influencer, a lot of truths and realities that a lot of people don't realize, and that's why I'm creating this video. Now, this video is going to be based on my experience as an influencer and also that of my peers and colleagues in the industry. Now, this video is probably going to be a little bit long because I have a lot to say, guys. So definitely get comfortable, sit down, and let's just hop right into this video. For those of you who are seeing me for the first time, my name is Sarah Audu. I am a fashion, lifestyle, and faith content creator based in Abuja, Nigeria. Now, I started creating content on a blog about 7 years ago. I eventually moved to Instagram, and now on YouTube. We're trying to grow on YouTube, so definitely do give this video a thumbs up, like this video, and do subscribe to my channel. But yeah, I have been working and influencing for brands for about 3 years now. Being an influencer or creating content anywhere in the world is definitely a lot of work, but in Nigeria, it is a different ball game, okay? Now, the first thing a lot of people don't realize about being an influencer is that it is a lot of work. Now, I know it doesn't seem that way, especially when you see that one picture or that 1 minute video. But behind that 1 minute video or picture is a lot of time planning, shoots, concept editing. This video that I'm filming right now took me like a bit to set up, get my makeup done, sit down, put up my ring light, and figure out my set. I'm also gonna probably spend about 10 hours, if not more, trying to edit that video, posting it on YouTube, sharing it on my Instagram page, trying to promote it to actually get people to watch. Not to talk about creating content, trying to balance it with a 9 to 5, because a lot of influencers actually, especially in Nigeria, have full-time jobs as well. So your weekends generally involve a lot of time planning shoots and creating content. Because the truth is, whether we get paid or not, we have to keep creating content. You have to be in people's faces, okay? Y'all have to keep saying me on your pages, on your feeds, to, you know, be in the minds, to be fresh in your minds, and also the minds of brands or people you might want to collaborate with. Now, a lot of people don't realize it because the most common assumption, especially in Nigeria, is like, and she is just to stand and snap picture. But let me ask you a question. That picture that you took and the one that the influencer took or the content creator took, can you see the difference? Is it the same thing? No, really, is it the same thing? Now, in creating content in Nigeria, we have to deal with a lot of infrastructure limitations in terms of power and electricity, which is not exactly stable. I actually film a lot of my YouTube videos using a generator. Internet is such a huge deal, and it's, first of all, it's expensive. It's unreliable in the sense that it's slow. It doesn't always work when you want it to. Now, even when you're spending a lot of money paying, for example, now in my house, we use Entel, the 18,000 Naira plan, and that's really high because minimum wage in Nigeria is about what, 30,000 Naira, and that they increased that recently. That's not even up to $1 right now with the current exchange rate. And the thing is, it affects us because then you have to keep spending money on data or internet. That's one of the issues I had, especially in my earlier days when I was broke, okay? And also it's a big issue because then your consumers, your followers, your viewers can't exactly watch the video. Now, most of you watching this video, you might not make it to the end of this video, or you may even download this video to watch it on your phone. And then let's not even talk about creating content in Nigeria, going out to actually shoot pictures, create videos. You come across a lot of people who don't actually understand exactly what you're doing. You meet security guards, managers who tell you that you can't take pictures in this location, or you have to pay a certain fee. They tell you to pay 30,000 Naira for 1 hour to shoot. And I'm like, what? How much is one making from being an influencer that you're gonna pay 30,000 Naira for a shoot in that place? Guys, though, I used to go to cafes, I used to go to places to try to create different vibes, because let me be honest with you, street photography can get boring and tired after a while. But I found that I was spending a lot of money just trying to create content over there, and always meeting people who would be like, it's not that loud, it's not that loud, it's not that loud. And it's even better in Abuja here, because thankfully we have good places, like we have streets, we have places like the stadium, even though we're having issues right now. But guys, I was in Lagos last year. If you know any Lagos content creator that delivers quality content, amazing videos, please give them a round of applause, because it's a lot. First of all, Lagos streets are ugly, like seriously. And most of the fine places are not accessible, and they probably charge as well. I actually inserted a bit of it when I went to Lagos. I put a vlog where I talked about the struggle that we had creating content. We went to a cafe and the owner was like, we had to pay, is it 20,000 or 10,000 for 30 minutes on our phones? Guys, just to snap picture. I've even had issues where I was almost, should I say, like, threatened with a lawsuit. I've actually been banned from a cafe here in Abuja. It's a funny story, and to this day it doesn't make sense. But if you want to know what happened that I got banned from a cafe, or that I was almost threatened with a lawsuit, Leave that in the comment section. I might just do a story time. But yo, I used to bother myself, but now I go to the streets. The streets are free. I ain't got no time to be stressing myself with cafes that are probably gonna bank off the publicity that they get from creating content and who are still gonna charge you just to use their location. Why? Now about the money aspect of influencing, that's one thing a lot of people want to know. But let me tell you the truth. Nigerian brands don't pay. They actually don't make as much as you think. I know it doesn't seem that way, especially when you see followers. Followers don't equal money. And by the way, this whole money thing or video, it's from my perspective as a micro-influencer. When it comes to making money, the most common way we make money as influencers is to work with brands. In the sense, brands pay you money, they send you products to kind of like create around your lifestyle, create videos, pictures, things that you normally create, and kind of show your audience why they need it in the hopes that they get people to buy from them or they get followers. It all depends on the goal of the collaboration. But your average business, actually all businesses at the end of the day, they want to sell, they want to make money, and that's why they're paying money. Of course, there are other ways to make money as an influencer or content creator generally. And in Nigeria, if you'd like me to do a video on that, actually I might just do a video on that, so definitely do subscribe to my channel. But do let me know, would you like to see a video on how influencers / content creators, other ways of making money? Please do leave that in the comment section and definitely do subscribe. Usually brands pitch you, they send you a message either on Instagram or your email. Sometimes PR agencies also reach out to us as well here in Nigeria, but that's like a long story. There's a lot that goes on with that whole PR thing, and personally I'd actually prefer to work one-on-one with the brand as opposed to working for PR agencies, because PR agencies in Nigeria, let me not talk again, okay? My biggest issue with some of these businesses is this entitlement mentality. They'll be like, I will give you free clothes. Free clothes. They'll come with like, you create pictures, you create videos, they come with like everything that they want, and they don't have money. Like, what is with this entitlement? Okay, yeah, in the earlier days, free clothes was like, wow, me, you're giving me free clothes. But that was when we earlier started. But now that you've come to the point where you know that you've invested, you've grown, like, yeah, I deserve my accolades, yo. I've paid my dues, okay? And as you get older, you can't keep doing something for free. Yeah, I know it's a hobby, it's a passion project, but now I know that small businesses, they have limitations because the cost of running a business is a big deal in Nigeria. But if you are a business, right, and you want to work with influencers, you need to come correct. Like, if you can't afford to pay them, learn how to create it yourself. If you can't afford to pay influencers, why not try to at least cover the cost of creating content? Because a lot of people don't realize that behind that, okay, you are paying for transportation, you're paying for photographers. I'm lucky enough to have my family, my siblings, who I taught how to take my pictures. Yeah, I learned how to take pictures, I learned photography, and I taught my siblings photography. All my siblings actually can take my pictures, and I've done so at one point in time. If you follow me on Instagram, y'all know that my go-to photographer is Ruth. Ruth comes through for me. She creates content that is good for me, so I get to save on photography costs. But at a point in time, before I got my camera, I considered investing in photography, and I had photographers who were charging about 10,000 naira for an hour. And you meet businesses who don't even want to pay up to that, okay? When I first started working with brands, I was charging 5,000. Now I think that was the first fee that I charged. Then I moved to 10,000. Then I've moved and I've actually added a bit more, but I do know that I don't charge as high, and that is because brands, they'll ask you to send them your media kit, and they'll be like, I will get back to you. Just know that that's the end. That's them ghosting. Or they'll be like, I can't afford you, or your budget is too high. And I'm like I've had a brand that came and priced me at 2,000 naira, guys. That's not even up to, how many dollars is that? That's what, for my international audience, that's like about $5. I don't even think it's up to $10 for promotion on my page, guys. They wanted me to, how much do I spend on internet? How much do I spend to make calls? They wanted to pay me 2,000 naira, even when I was broke and I didn't even have money to create content. I wouldn't have accepted that, because that's completely unacceptable. And that's the kind of things that we face here in Nigeria as content creators and influencers. Yes, brands are now starting to see the value of our work. They understand our worth. They're starting to see the need for influencers, which is a far cry from what it was before. Before, we had to beg our way into certain things. They didn't see the point of influencers. Now they understand, but they're not ready to drop the money for it. And I get it with small businesses, but what is the problem with bigger brands or even international brands when they come in and then all they want to do is gift you free products? Hey, I don't mind free clothes. Hey, I've taken free clothes so many times, especially when it's from a brand that I admire, a brand that I was going to purchase from anyways. Now, I complain about my Intel internet. Hey, so there's nothing wrong if it's mutually beneficial. If Intel were to come to me right now and be like, hey, we love your work, we're gonna give you 1 year free to promote us, I'd be like, yes. Because I'd be saving, or we'd be saving about what, 18,000 naira a month over a year. That's a lot of money. So there's nothing wrong with free product if it is like maybe it equals to the price you normally charge, even way higher than the price you'd normally charge. So if you're someone who's trying to figure out how to charge brands, definitely do charge based on cost, okay? Charge based on how much time you spend creating content. I may not charge as much as my other counterpart because I'm not spending money on photography. I spend money on transportation and, of course, helping out my siblings from time to time because they do help me out. But if you were working with a photographer that was charging you, what, 15,000 naira per shoot, you definitely know that you should be charging ×2 that you normally charge brands to cover your photography cost, okay? So and another thing is some brands are not even ready. They send you the wackest free clothes, like their sample products, things that you'll even be ashamed to promote, okay? So I don't know what this whole entitlement thing is. I will send you free clothes. Listen, if you're a brand watching this, do better, because fashion influencers especially, whether you send free products or not, we're gonna buy them anyways because that's why we started, okay? And let me just say something. If you don't give influencers free clothes or free products, what are they gonna use? What are they gonna use? What are we gonna use to create content? I mean, if you're trying to advertise a brand and the clothes, of course you're gonna give the products. What are we gonna use to sell you if we don't have a product? Another thing is that the money is actually inconsistent. In one period you're making a lot and the next minute you're kind of struggling. It's one of those things where it's inconsistent, and the fact that with influencing, it's not necessarily sustainable right now because you are depending on either brands to reach out to you to work with you, you're depending on them to want to work with you, or you're also depending on your IG algorithms favoring you by making sure your followers see your posts, because the truth is we work with metrics. Brands want to see that you can sell, and how do they see that? They check out your engagement, your likes, your comments, your number of followers. So it's actually very it's a lot. And again, we don't even make as much as our counterparts abroad. And I've spoken to some people that create content in the countries like the US or UK where things are more in place. Y'all, if I was a full-time influencer, I would have quit a long time ago, okay? Another reality of being an influencer is that, guys, it can cost a lot of money, okay? Now, I know we're all about that, start from where you are, and I totally agree with that. But let me tell you something. If you want to make money in this, you have to invest in your content, you have to invest in your quality. Like, I started blogging years ago. My picture quality wasn't even that great, okay? I was using an SLR camera, but let me tell you something. Once I invested 250,000 naira in my gadgets, in my gear, I noticed a huge shift in my growth. I started working with brands. I started getting pitches, started getting pitches for free clothes, okay? Which was a far cry from before. Now you're seeing me complaining about too much free products, but there was a point in time when that wasn't even happening. I'm thankful for that, of course. Y'all don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say free clothes are bad per se, but just try to understand the motive behind that. But yeah, it costs a lot of money, okay? You have to be smart as well, but you know, while it's important to start from where you are, honestly, if you want to grow further, if you want to go further faster, you have to invest. And honestly, that is why it's so important to have another source of income, because one, it helps you like not take stupid opportunities or collaborations that are devaluing you and paying you less, and also it helps you really invest in your content game, like get tools that you need. And again, with this whole money, we spend money to create content. Like what I said, whether we're making money or not, we have to keep spending money creating. Now for fashion at the end of the day, you have to become smart with it. I thrift a lot. I reach out to brands to collaborate with, especially when I like their product. So there's some ways to save costs, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Having money to buy clothes is actually an important thing. You're not trying to keep up a fake lifestyle, but as a fashion or a specific kind of content creator, your clothes is your content. If you are a lifestyle person, you go out to review places, you need to have money to go out and eat. Okay, I mean, it might be part of your lifestyle, but when you are creating content around that, you need money. You need to have money to go to these places. In fact, when I started blogging, because I didn't start in Nigeria, I started because I had a really unhealthy shopping habit. And at that point, I found myself actually buying clothes that would be good for the blog or buying clothes that would be good for content. Just imagine that. That is crazy. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't, because even now I do. There are brands that are on my radar that I love to collaborate with, places that I go to review because I know they are the in thing and people are interested in. But at the same time, it's all about having a balance. You understand? Like, you're not going out of your way to like waste all your money to create content that you're not making money from. So another thing I want to talk about is especially is the fact that people don't exactly respect or understand the whole niche of influencing or creating content, especially when you're in an industry like fashion or lifestyle. It's like for example, now when I go out and I tell people I'm a blogger, I'm a content creator, they're like, oh, cool. And when they see my followers, they're like, wow, nice. But the response is completely different when I'm like, I have a 9 to 5, especially having worked for a multinational as a communications officer. Whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I do this too, they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. But when I say I'm a blogger, they're like, oh, okay. And it's not that we're trying to, you know, like live for people's approval, but honestly, it's just something to note that it's always like, oh, you're into fashion, oh, that's not serious business. There are more serious things. Yeah, it's not as important as world hunger, but the way we look, you know, looking good is also important as well. And I wish people didn't look down, because like, I mean, your influencers creating fashion content, there are people who are lawyers, business women, who are health practitioners, who are doctors, and it's just like, yo, you're a blogger, you're a lifestyle blogger. It's always like people are impressed with the followers, but not necessarily the whole aspect, because most people don't see it as a lot of work, as I said earlier. Now this video was a lot. I probably rambled a lot because I had a lot to say. In fact, I do have a lot more to say. Just know that I'm doing this video not to discourage anyone who's trying to pursue this path or to actually complain. I just want to like people to be enlightened and understand what goes on behind the scenes, because it's a lot, okay? I didn't even get to the nitty-gritty of it, and there's so many things that I probably didn't touch. And by the way, if you're someone who's trying to go into the industry and you have questions, do leave that in the comment section. I might just do a part 2. One thing I will say is at the end of the day is focus on the passion. Yeah, money is a very good motivator, but I've been creating content for 7 years, and I only really started making money about 2 years or 3 years ago. I only started making like decent money that I could actually like write down as money last year. It's a labor of love, and while people think it's easy, it actually takes a lot of work building. Like, it took me so long to get to this point, and I know that I have a long way to go. I have so much learning to do. So I will say, especially if you're going into influencing on Instagram, don't do it for the money. The money comes later, and if you're doing it for the money, you probably will quit, because like I said, if I was creating content or being an influencer for the money, I would have quit years ago. In fact, I almost quit. I almost quit at a certain point in time because I got fed up and I knew that I couldn't keep up with it. Thank God I didn't, but I almost did, because it was really, really hard. In fact, it's really hard to be consistent, to consistently put your work out there when you're not getting the results that you expect. But I'm so thankful that I made the decision to start a blog or go into content creation years ago. It has not only helped me build a community or have a platform where I can actually share my thoughts and actually have people who resonate with it, but also has helped me with like skills, simple skills like knowing how to edit videos, understanding social media algorithms, you know, getting another source of income, another side hustle, which may not pay that great, but it's on the road to becoming something that can actually be profitable, especially in the future, to having other sources of income beyond my 9 to 5, to having opportunities that I would never expect. Also, like, just being able to actually make money from something that you love doing, that you would do anyways, is just amazing. Because man, like, I mean, I make more from working a 9 to 5. I made more from having 9 to 5 jobs, but yo, the money that comes in from blogging or creating content, the feeling is always different. The feeling is always different. I can't even explain. And also the new skills as well do come in handy, especially when like 9 to 5 jobs that I've gotten before have been a result of having experience in social media, all because I had a blog and I decided to start this. And I'm really, really, really so thankful for that, for another opportunity to actually do something that I love. If you're an influencer watching this, are there realities, truths, or challenges about creating content or being an influencer in Nigeria that I didn't talk about? Do you have anything to add on to the topics I spoke about? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Also, if you made it to the end, do subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up so I know that you like videos like this. If you have any further questions, also leave that in the comment section. I might just do a part 2 to this. And yeah, let's just keep talking. Let's keep talking out. I know that the more we talk, the better the industry will get. Don't go anywhere. Watch my other videos before you go, and I will see you in my next video.